Tell you what, we'll find some stables when we get to Hawaii. Maybe go riding on the beach, eh?
Frank, I've been thinking.
Yeah, so have I. Of rolling sand dunes, blazing sunshine, and nothing to do but relax.
I don't want to go.
What?
Anything from the university?
Let's have a look. No. Well, they did say around the end of the month, so it should be any time now. When I spoke to Andy, he was rather optimistic.
Nice to have something to celebrate for once.
Yes. Now we've made the decision, I think the sooner we get away from here, the better.
I'm not sure whether Jess would agree with that.
Yes, well, she's just going to have to put up with it. I mean, the very idea of her living with Biff. No, thank you very much.
You were right to veto the idea, but have a little heart. Jess is very fond of Biff. She's going to miss him.
She can do better than him.
Well, whatever. I'd like you to show a bit more sympathy towards your daughter.
Yeah, she's going to have to face up to the future, and I'm afraid it isn't here.
Quite, but let's not ride roughshod over Jess's or Luke's feelings. We've not allowed them a say in this move at all.
Well, what's there to say? Aren't you going to be late for school?
3 periods this morning. Did tell you last night.
Yes, of course you did.
Oh, it's probably my fault. Forgot you're not a great listener.
Hey, don't be clever, Luke.
I can do some work on my bike.
I rest my case.
This is all to do with that damn AGM, isn't it?
No. What I'm saying is, after having really thought it through, Chris just doesn't have the experience to be left in charge.
A bit late now, love.
We could postpone the trip till we find someone a bit more suitable.
Right. There are 2 points I want to make. Number one, this is my son we're talking about, and I know that you and he aren't exactly the best of friends, but blood is thicker than water.
Oh, and there's room for sentiment in business. Frank, we are not leaving him a corner shop to look after.
So, as far as I'm concerned, Chris is more than capable of running the show for a couple of weeks, and that is that.
And that's point number 2.
What's more important to us, the business or one another?
The latter, of course.
Well, for goodness sake, let's stop all this nonsense about postponing the trip. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, I don't give a damn if we lost all this and ended up living in a caravan like Betty and Seth. As long as we're together. Eh?
It's the happy honeymooners. Oh, cheer up, Kim. While we're all slaving away in this grey February weather, you'll be lazing around on the beach.
You won't have much slaving to do. Everything's been meticulously organised.
Do you two want to be late?
Yeah, have a lovely time, Dad. And don't worry, the estate's in good hands, as is the golf course.
I'm warning you, Chris. If there are any little acts of sabotage while I'm away, I won't be responsible for my actions. I mean it.
It's enough, Chris.
More than enough. Come on, Zoe's right. We're cutting it a bit fine. Don't you dare try to undermine Kim. We'll discuss this further when I get back.
Oh, you're right there, Dad. There is rather a lot to discuss.
Ta-da! What do you think?
Maybe we should stay at home.
No, I want you to see my handiwork. And if all the punters at the Woolpack think it's naff, then I can cry on your shoulder.
Oh, must be Dad and Kim back from their honeymoon.
Oh, I'm going to meet Mummy and Dad.
So, how are the newlyweds?
Exhausted.
Dad, you remember Emma? We had the car accident.
Of course, the car accident.
Emma, this is Kim.
Hello. Hi.
Emma's been staying over. She's been working on the alterations at the Woolpack.
You don't look much like a chippy.
Interior design.
We just after the reopening. You coming?
No, you go on. Kim's ready for a cocoa.
See you later.
Bye. Bye.
Zoe's friend seems to have made herself at home.
Good, because that's what I intend doing. We'll unpack in the morning. Come on, let's go up.
I'll just go through these letters.
Now?
There'll be a lot to catch up on.
You wait till tomorrow.
Honeymoon's over, Frank. Business won't run itself.
I'm well aware of that, my darling. Tomorrow I shall be in the driving seat, in control. I followed the doc's instructions and yours, and I feel great. Re-energised.
Don't you think you ought to take it easy?
I'll delegate.
I know your delegation. You just tell people what you're going to do.
Kim, I've had a long time to weigh things up. I'm not going to go charging around like some mad thing. But running this business is my life. And you'll be able to go back to your stables full time. Oh, gotta get used to dressing for the cold again.
Yeah, not exactly Hawaiian weather in Yorkshire this time of year.
It was a great honeymoon, but it's always good to come home again, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to catch up on everything that's happened while we've been gone.
Yeah, I'm surprised Nick hasn't been in to see me. Still, I guess me and Peg will run into him.
It's not what Nick's been up to that's worrying me.
Chris will have kept everything in shape. He has run this business before, you know.
Morning!
Morning.
Morning. Well, she certainly seems to have made herself at home since we've been gone.
You don't mind, do you?
No, of course not. I'm just wondering how long she'll be staying.
About Chris.
It's coming round lunchtime. Let's give me a full report.
Well, I think I ought to be there too.
Well, there's no need for you to interrupt your day at the stables. It's just for us to have a lunch together.
I'll bring the sandwiches.
Oh, okay. I'll see you later.
Trouble? Nah, Nelly kept him in line. They walked away with the first prize in the raffle. Surprised not to see you and Sarah there.
Decided to have a quiet night in. Hello, Kim. Good honeymoon?
Oh, great, thanks. Got back last night. Frank's feeling as fit as a fiddle, raring to get back to work.
He still has to take it easy, though, doesn't he?
I tried telling him that. Have you seen Seth about? He's not in his caravan.
Ah, he's moved into the village with Betty.
Oh, right. Frank and I bought him a present back from Hawaii. Thank you for giving me away at the wedding.
He'll be up at the game farm.
Oh, is he helping David out today?
I don't think David'd see it like that.
What do you mean?
Chris sacked our Dave while you were away. Put Seth back in his old job.
What?
I thought you knew.
No, it's the first I've heard of it.
Glad you had such a good time.
Yeah, fitter than I have in ages. Ready to get down to work. How is the business?
Thriving.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
Of course, I've had to make a few minor adjustments while you've been gone. You know, a bit of fine-tuning. I think you'd be pleased with the results. Now, I don't mean to criticise Kim, but she had let things get a bit slack.
It was a lot of hard work for one woman. I shall always be grateful for Kim helping out. But now I'm back in charge.
What the hell do you think you've been up to?
He was just giving me his report.
Yes, well, perhaps he'd like to start by telling us why he's been sacking my staff.
Father knew the rules and he broke them. I had to take action.
Don't you think you're overreacting a bit? They were just shooting pigeons.
On Tate land with Tate guns. If there'd been an accident, some bright spark might have tried to sue us.
You're just trying to justify yourself. It was done out of spite.
You've got a lot to learn about running a home farm business, Kim.
Don't patronise me.
I left Chris in sole charge. I'm sure he had the family's best interests at heart.
I see. Or perhaps he'd like to explain how our best interests were served by banning the hunt.
Well, you know how much damage they cause. As far as I'm concerned, hunting's just some archaic ritual. Let's leave it to Hooray Henrys and the social climbers that suck up to them.
If that's your attitude, I'm not surprised Sir Thomas decided to take his horses out of livery.
Did you have a row with him, Chris?
Well, you know what the aristocracy are like. They hate a few home truths.
Do you know how much that's cost me?
My responsibility was home farm business. I did what I thought was best for them.
Yeah, well, maybe you should have waited until Kim came back before any decisions were made.
Well, I'm surprised to hear you say that. I'd have thought we had enough trouble when Neil Kincaid was running the hunt without inviting them back.
You will be sorry for this, Chris.
Hang on a minute, Kim. Don't push your luck, Chris. I backed you this time. But I will not have you antagonising Kim any further. You got that?
Where are you going?
Oh, I got a few things to sort out at the Heritage Farm. Oh, it's good to be back in harness.
I wish you could say the same. I'm at a bit of a loose end now you're running things again.
You still got your stables?
Yeah, with rather fewer horses now Sir Thomas has taken his away. Why couldn't Chris keep out of my business?
He will, now that I'm back in charge. Expect me when you see me. I've got a lot on today.
You could always let me give you a hand with some of it.
There's no need, love. I'm fully fit now. If you're looking for something to do, why don't you take Valentine for a ride?
Sir Thomas. Hello, Kim Tate here. Just picking up the pieces. Do you think we could meet? Well, today, if possible. I was wondering about this morning. Lunchtime, the golf club. No, of course. If that's what you...
Same poison again.
Same again.
Alan nearly missed the drop again. Gin and orange, is it?
Oh, yes, please,
Right.
yes.
And another gin and orange, please.
Sir Thomas,
It's lovely Mrs. Tate.
you were expecting me?
Yes, of course I was. How about a drink? Gin, tea?
I'll have a mineral water, please.
Oh, we can't have that. Oh, you've got to catch up with the rest of us, you know.
This is business.
Business always goes better after a little drink. What's it to be?
Oh, just a small gin, then.
That's better. And a gin, please, Clarence. Ah, what is this business, then?
Well, I don't think this is the place to talk. It is rather confidential.
I should be so lucky.
It won't take a minute.
Right, I'll put it then. The first tea awaits. You golf for yourself?
No, not really.
You want to take it up. Any tricky situation been talked through during a game of golf?
Yes, well, this is a bit tricky. I owe you an apology.
Whatever for?
The way my stepson behaved about the hunt. He had no authority to do what he did.
Yes, that's not the impression he gave me.
Yes, well, I'm afraid Chris is like that. He's not always very tactful.
He made it pretty plain that the hunt wasn't welcome.
He was only holding the fort whilst I was away. Expected to come back and find things just the same. Now, if I was to welcome back the hunt, do you think you could see your way to stabling your horses with me again?
Sorry, out of the question, I'm afraid.
You don't have to decide now.
This is a business discussion, Mrs. Tate. I think you said that yourself.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do business with anyone who breaks their word. That isn't how a gentleman behaves.
It wasn't me who broke my word. It was Chris.
You and Frank left him in charge, and you must take the responsibility.
That's just what I'm trying to do.
There are certain ways of doing things, Mrs. Tate. Maybe you'll learn that when your family has lived in the county as long as mine has.
I'm trying to offer a service. That's all.
Why don't you stick to giving riding lessons to little girls in future? I think that's more your line of country.
My stables are well run. You said that yourself.
Oil and water, Mrs. Tate. They don't mix. Your husband's done very well for himself. Good luck to him. I always admire a self-made man, but it takes more than one generation to turn a man into a gentleman.
You look good. Been somewhere nice?
Hotton Golf Club. I went to see Sir Thomas Weir.
At the golf club?
His idea. Should never have agreed to it. I suppose he wanted an audience.
What for?
Humiliating me. I went to ask him if he'd put his hunters back with me, and he made me feel like I was something that just crawled out of the woodwork.
He's a snob. I don't know why you ever bother with him in the first place.
Because the stables is all I've got, and he was a good contact.
You're better off without all those toffee-nosed counties, sir.
You never liked them, did you?
I know what they're like. They stick to their own kind, and that's what you should be doing. It's Chris and Rachel that you should be worrying about, not the likes of Sir Thomas Weir.
It was Chris who cocked this up in the first place.
That was the past. Chris is my son, and Rachel is having his child. That's the future of this family. We need to mend a few fences, and I'm going to need your help. How about we invite them round for dinner? One day next week. Come in, David. Good of you to call.
Well, I wasn't doing anything else.
Sit down. Well, that's what I want to talk to you about. I'm trying to rationalise the running of home farm estates, and I might have a job for you.
Well, if you're thinking of offering Mick Gamekeeper's job, it's too late. Seth's got it.
I quite agree. No, I've got something else in mind. What would you think to trying your hand as assistant manager at Home Farm?
Me?
Yeah. I've been making a few inquiries, and you seem to have your head screwed on.
What would I have to do?
Anything that I don't have time for. I'd want you to keep a general eye on everything. The nursery, the holiday village, game farm.
What about Nick and Biff?
They carry on as usual. You will be dealing with administration and supervision.
I can't see myself supervising Seth somehow.
Yeah, he's one on his own, is old Seth.
Yeah.
Try practicing the blind eye technique. I always did. Well, what do you say?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I'll say yes.
Great. let's sort out some of the details.
Mr. Tate, and thanks for the job.
It's on a trial basis, remember. We'll see how it goes. And no more messing about with a shotgun.
I can explain that.
No need. We were all young once.
Right, Monday then.
Fine.
Right, thanks again. Bye, Mrs. Tate.
What was all that about?
Oh, I've offered him a job. Assistant farm manager.
Without consulting me?
He's a fine lad. I reckon he's going to work out well.
Yes, I'm sure he will, but that's not what I mind. I could have done that job. I was running this estate fine till we went away. Now I feel completely cut off.
I don't want you to do it.
Oh, you made that pretty obvious.
I want you to be my wife, not some sort of junior executive.
I can do both. Being a wife's not a full-time job.
It could be.
Drink coffee and go shopping. Is that what you want me to do?
You could try supporting me instead of getting at me.
And what about you supporting me? I feel as if you don't need me anymore.
That's not true.
You're more interested in Chris than you are in me. I feel used. When you were ill, I worked my guts out. And now you're better, I'm nowhere. Thanks.
Never had a desk before. Well, not since school.
Think of it as a symbol. Oh, I don't expect to see you behind it very often.
Oh, don't worry. I thought I'd been stuck inside all day.
What's going on?
We're setting up an office in here.
What, instead of the living room?
Yeah, makes sense. Working out the living room's daft with all the space we've got. And Dave and I will be working together.
You didn't tell me.
I think I better sort that flooding out down at Keller Bottom.
Yeah, fine.
You might have told me what you were up to.
I didn't reckon that you'd want young Dave in and out all the time. Not in his muddy boots.
You think I'm going to be sitting around the living room all day?
I don't know.
No, never crossed your mind, did it? Funnily enough, I was going to set up a farm office in here while you were ill. But I thought you might feel a bit left out, so I decided against it.
Oi, what time do you call this to be going off to work?
I've been to work. I forgot something. I came back for it, all right?
Well done.
What did I do?
You just go through life oblivious to anyone else's feelings, don't you?
I know what's wrong with you, but what's wrong with me?
There is nothing wrong with me, Frank. Have you noticed we've not seen anything of Emma lately?
All right. Row?
I don't know. All I'm saying is, think about other people once in a while, Frank. They might appreciate it. Come on.
She wanted me to move in with her in Leeds. It's not practical. And neither's the alternative, Emma moving in here.
Well, if that's what you really wanted to do, but I've got a better idea. Something that can, well, do us both some good. After that fiasco of Chris running the business, your father felt that he had to take things over again. I mean, he didn't want to, not with his heart.
Oh, he seems happy enough.
A front. All that manic good humour. You know how difficult he is to help?
I certainly do.
Well, I thought, what if I was to put some more money into your business?
Dad's divorce settlement?
Well, Chris might be a bit funny about it, but if I was to buy some shares, all above board, then you would have enough money to buy a place of your own.
Chris always said you were devious.
What's devious about it? It helps me to help your dad. And maybe you and Emma.
See ya.
Who was that?
That was Nick. They've been stranded on the cliff at Whitby. They've had to been rescued by Coast Guard.
So that's why he isn't at work. Original excuse. Not heard that one before.
Come on, Frank. They're lucky to be alive.
Aren't we all? OK, the excitement's over. I'm sure you've got work to do.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going out for a bit.
I really wish we didn't have to go, Chris.
We don't. I'll tell Dad you think he's a wealthy old bore and we'll stay in and play Scrabble.
I mean, I don't know why they've invited us in the first place. They've hardly said 2 words to me since you and I got together. So why all of a sudden is it this fond father-in-law bit?
Because they are simply making a gesture. Least we can do is meet them halfway.
Home Farm is the last place I want to go when I can't squeeze into my posh frock anymore. I'll see you later.
I'll pick you up at 10.
Oh. So you come into the scan? I thought you were still sulking about the wool pack.
I only wanted to see that the smoky atmosphere wasn't damaging my baby.
I bet the midwife will be grateful for your expert opinion. I'll see you later. Oh, Frank, I'm running a bit late.
Still on for tonight?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. See you later, Chris.
Everything all right?
Hormones running wild again.
Yours or Rachel's?
That's nearly funny, Dad.
So, you're off to have a glimpse of my grandchild?
Yeah, if Rachel lets me anywhere near.
It's a very special moment. You ought to share it with her.
Do you want a coffee?
No, I'm not stopping. I just want to put an idea to you. Now, I've been doing a lot of thinking. Don't take this the wrong way, but I don't want to see my grandson born illegitimate.
Now, hold on a minute, Dad.
You want to marry Rachel, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose so, but we haven't even discussed it yet.
Start thinking about your child, Chris. We've got to do what's best for him. Or her.
And you don't think I will? I'm sorry. You are out of order.
Hang on. Marry Rachel, and I'll buy Kathy out of Mill Cottage.
Great plan. One problem, I'm still married to Kathy.
Not if I pay her a rather generous divorce settlement.
No, it's only just hit me. We're actually going to have a baby. Well done.
Well done you. Although it hit me about the same time as morning sickness.
We'll have to decorate the nursery.
We haven't even got a house yet.
Well, I'll get divorce proceedings started and get Kathy out of Mill Cottage.
Kathy might have other ideas.
She might. It's amazing how persuasive Dad's checkbook can be.
What do you mean?
I mean, you haven't got to worry about anything. Dad and I have discussed it. We'll just have to make her an offer she can't refuse.
We've just seen our baby for the very first time, and you're sounding like a cheap gangster.
I'm just securing our future together.
At what cost? I'd live in a bedsit if I knew that the baby and I were important to you, but we're not, are we? What really matters is just your next little business plan. Can't you frighten me sometimes?
Don't be ridiculous. What's brought all this on?
Homemade horseradish certainly has some bite.
Oh, have you parboiled those roast potatoes?
Oh, whoops. On their way.
Sorry.
Sorry. So, you looking forward to this evening?
Oh, what do you think?
Well, part of the healing process, I suppose.
You should have invited Emma.
I don't think I want Emma to see the Tate's version of family at war.
Don't you start. I've already had dire warnings from Frank about being on my best behaviour. Anyway, Rachel's hardly family.
Well, I want everyone to treat her as such tonight. Please, no rows. Let's have a night to remember, eh?
Fine, but I hope you've warned Chris to behave himself too.
It takes two to tango, Kim. Rachel?
Yes, please, orange juice.
That's right. None of the hard stuff for you till after the birth.
Show them the pictures of the scan.
Yeah, come on, don't be bashful. Let's see the baby. Look, you can see its head.
It's a wonderfully clear picture.
I could do with an ultrasound at the surgery.
You're supposed to be admiring the baby, not the technology.
Sorry, Rachel. It's a lovely baby.
Very nice.
It's more than nice. It's my grandchild.
Right, well, shall we take our drinks through? Dinner's ready.
Can you grab mine? A smile wouldn't look out of place on the expectant mother.
I'm finding this very difficult.
Just relax. You're being welcomed into the family. Enjoy being made a fuss of.
God, anyone would think I was carrying the heir to the throne.
Well, in Dad's eyes, you're not too wide of the mark. Smile.
My compliments to the chef. That was really smashing.
Thank you.
Well, here's to Rachel and the baby.
Yeah. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
It's no secret that I'm absolutely delighted that the Tate clan will have a new member. And I can only hope that you and Chris and Tate Jr. will live happily ever after.
I'll drink to that.
Where?
I'm sorry?
Rachel.
Live happily ever after. Where?
Why, in Mill Cottage? Where else?
Have I missed something? Doesn't Kathy live at Mill Cottage?
Yeah, well, thank you for a lovely
I
evening.
must say, Zoe, I thought so too. But it seems that Kathy's no longer part of Frank and Chris's business plan, so she's been sold off.
Rachel, don't do this.
What do you mean, sold off?
What I mean is she hasn't been profitable. Hasn't come up with the goods, but I have, so you'll invest in me. But I don't want my baby to be treated like a commodity, to be floated on the Tate Stock Exchange. I just want it to be healthy and happy. And I can't imagine that happening when it's surrounded by you lot trying to out-scheme each other. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
What on earth are you up to now? Rachel, hang on.
Well, if I can be of any help.
You've already been generous, Kim. I owe you 30,000.
I could double it.
Double it? I'd never be able to pay you back. I don't own anything.
Well, like I said before, you could always sign over some of your family shares. It'd give me a little foothold. And instead of me asking you for 30,000, I'd be giving you 30,000. That's if you think it would be any use right now. I just want to make things really work with your dad. It's a fresh start for me. Chance to begin again with Frank. And the family. Put the past behind. It's taken me a long time to realise just how important relationships are. I hope you can understand that, Zoe.
Yes, I can. I really can.
Any luck?
No, not when I left them. Is Dad back?
Fast asleep. Determined to get back out there. I'll be going with him, make sure he doesn't overdo it. Can I get you some breakfast?
No, thanks. I haven't got time. I've got to get to surgery. Kim, can I tell you my news?
What news?
Well, I feel a bit guilty looking forward to my own future with Robert still missing, but...
What?
Emma and I are going to get a place together, and I'm delighted.
I'm really pleased for you. So, will you be taking up my offer now?
Look, I really appreciate it, but we're going to get a joint mortgage, so I don't need to sell my shares anymore. But thanks anyway.
Only wanted to be of help.
Thanks. Moustache.
See you.
I think it best if you went to the office instead of the search.
Can't you ask Chris to handle it today? I hate to sound cruel, but he can't really help with the
Yeah, I
search.
know, but he's preoccupied with his marital problems, and I'm expecting a call from a very large travel agent about the holiday village. The sooner you handle it.
All right, whatever you think's best. So, what's Chris's problem, then?
Rachel wants the divorce sorted out before the baby's born, which is sensible. Once the baby's here, there's a clear line of succession. If that's not too grand, would it?
For the company and your money?
Well, certainly a proportion of it. The fear is that Cathy or an advisor will realise this and use it as a lever to get a better settlement.
And what can you do to stop it?
Make her an immediate, seemingly generous offer. Tell her that if she doesn't agree, then we'll drag the proceedings on for a long, long time. But between you and me, my big fear is the shares. If she controls them, she controls us. Anyway, you just worry about keeping that travel agent sweet, and I'll see you later.
Sure. Bye.
Hi.
So, how have you been? You're looking,
Before you say anything, I've just got back from a run.
a run?
Not a jog, a run. 3 miles along the front. That's why I look like this. I was just about to get a shower. I bet you thought I was still in a mess, didn't you?
No, of course not. You're actually looking marvellous, I think.
Oh, thanks. Mum's gone to York shopping.
You passed on a day's shopping. You sure you're well again?
Well, it's nice to spend some time on my own. Mum's great, but no, it's difficult living with her after all this time. I'm looking forward to getting back to my own place again. There you go.
Ah.
What do you mean,
Chris has moved back into the cottage.
Why, have Chris and Rachel split up?
No.
You mean that little bitch is living in my house?
No. I don't think so.
I'm glad you've come, Kim. It's beginning to wonder if I had any friends left.
Frank and I were divorced, and I wasn't in anything like as strong a position as you are. But I was too trusting. I didn't want to cause any more upset.
Yes, but you came out of it all right, though, financially.
Well, yeah, but that's why I'm here, really. Make sure you don't do anything that... Well, you're too nice for your own good sometimes.
I think stupid's a better word.
Of course not. I wish there was more people around like you. People you can depend on. People you can trust. I think Chris has betrayed your trust enough.
Surely it's quite straightforward. We divide everything 50-50.
Since when has anything been straightforward with Chris?
Kim, do you know something?
No, not really. I just have this feeling. I think he might try to fob you off with shares in the company.
But what would I want with those? I can hardly see me being welcome at board meetings.
They are worth a fair bit.
Only on paper, and that's no good to me.
Yeah, but if you turn them down, he'll make it seem like you're the one that's being unreasonable.
And no doubt then he'll offer to buy them back, or Frank will at a knockdown price.
Probably. Listen, I don't know how this sounds, but what if I bought them from you?
But why would you do that?
It'd help you out. I mean, that's what friends are for, aren't they?
Yes, but what would you want with shares?
Well, this may sound awful, but it would protect Frank against Chris trying anything. And I know this would never sway you, but think how Chris would take it if you sold his shares to me.
He'd hate it. He'd really hate it.
So come on, spill the beans. Will you wine and dine you?
Hi, Emmerdale standards, yeah. Wolf packing a bag of crisps.
We must be paying him too much.
It was worth it to see Rachel's face. Is that all? No, there were other compensations.
I bet.
So, how is she anyway? Is she well?
Think so. Why?
Oh, just something Dave said. About her looking a bit bloated, actually.
He learns fast, that young man. As far as I know, she's fine. Blooming, in fact.
Oh, well.
Yes, come on. What else did Dishy Dave have to say for himself? I mean, any other little gems we should know about? Is green not my colour? Talk of the devil. Shall I ask him?
Don't you dare.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, well, I've got to go and see a man about a horse.
So, how are you?
Fine.
Working hard?
As ever.
Shame,
Why?
because I was going to suggest another wild night out.
But
But you're probably too tired now.
I could try and take it easy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's it to be then? Wool pack? Or shall we push the boat out and try the malt shovel?
Oh, best stick to the wool pack. Too much excitement can turn a girl's head, you know.
And where the hell's our so-called assistant manager? These MOTs, they're nearly out of date.
On a late lunch.
Oh, yeah. And who's he taking it with?
Kathy's perfectly entitled to see whoever she wants to, Chris.
Yeah. Well, how would you feel if Kim was knocking off one of the hired hands?
Forget about Dave. You've got to start using your grey matter a bit more, because being cuckoo in the nest of Mill Cottage plainly isn't working.
It's my home.
And the longer you stay there, the more it riles Kathy. And as we all know by now, the more she gets riled, the more she digs her heels in. No one wins in a war of attrition.
You were all for me moving back in.
That was then. Now we've got to reappraise the situation. Be pragmatic.
You mean give in?
I mean box clever. Give Kathy a breather. You never know. In the long run, it might make her a little more reasonable.
You do things your way, I'll do them mine.
If I didn't know you better, I'd think you were actually enjoying making her life hell.
Well, she can do whatever she likes. I'm going to the solicitors later, get the divorce drawn up. Maybe then she'll realise I mean business.
I took him over some pretty heavy going, but he's not up to condition yet. Really puffing and blowing.
Too much of the good life. Raising in the stables, eh, old fella?
Yeah, he just needs some regular work. I'll build up the amount every day and we'll see how he gets on, eh, boy?
Oh, don't you worry. We've got to look after you, haven't we, eh?
Well, she treated her workers that well.
I know. You have to rule them with a rod of iron. Otherwise, they start getting soft on you.
Do you think the mistress will let you have a night off so we can have a nose bag in Houghton?
Don't know about that. You'd be wanting lunch breaks next.
Pick you up at 7.
You know, I'm not usually a fan of younger men, but he's definitely got something.
And you, a married woman?
There's nothing wrong with a bit of harmless window shopping.
Go on. He was so pleased, I thought he was going to kiss me.
Subtlety's never been Chris's strong point. If he was that eager, I'd say you're in the driving seat.
So, you reckon I should go for the shares?
That's where Chris's real wealth is.
And you'll definitely buy them from me. I don't want to be left with a load of paper that's worth nothing to me.
Don't you trust me?
If you were a man saying that. I still don't understand why you want them, though.
If anything happens to Frank...
Yes, but surely you'd get everything.
I honestly don't know. Frank always said I'd be OK, but I'm not sure he thinks I could run the business.
Yes, but you've proved you can when he was ill.
Yeah, it doesn't mean to say he had to like it, though. I think Frank hopes against hope that Chris and I can become bosom pals.
So if you've got some of Chris's shareholding...
It would give Chris less of a power base within the company.
And if Frank did leave all his shares to you, you'd have control of the whole shooting match.
Yeah, I suppose I would. Never thought of it that way. Looks like you've got a visitor.
Tate asked me to bring some feed down.
Oh?
Said you'd rung and needed it straight away.
Kathy, do you know anything about this?
No, sorry.
Where do you want it put in?
I presume Kathy's help will do rather than mine.
I don't need help, just directions.
Right. Kathy?
I need to get this finished.
Well, you better follow me then, David. Come on. Do I get the gory details, or are you just going to keep me guessing?
Nothing to tell. I like things simple. Dave thinks I'm stringing him along.
And are you?
Depends what you mean. I thought we were mates. He wanted more.
Name me a man who doesn't.
Kim, under normal circumstances, I'd fancy him like mad, but just at the moment. That's why I told Chris he could have his divorce to get things over with. And I might have a clue whether I want Dave or anyone else. Because right now, I just don't know.
Kathy's been round to see me. She's turned down our offer.
She should talk to me.
It doesn't matter who she's talked to, she's turned it down. She wants half your shares.
She can't do that.
She's gonna have a damn good try. She made that very plain.
So what do we do now?
We get our lawyers to tie her in knots.
Why doesn't she just take the cash?
She'll want that as well.
What's wrong?
Kathy's being cute.
Thought it was a very good offer.
Well, she didn't.
Pity.
Hiya, Kim.
Oh, you've really set the cat among the pigeons. Frank's in a right old state.
Good. To be honest, I quite enjoyed it. He's used to getting his own way, isn't he?
Do him good to learn that he can't just snap his fingers and everybody jumps.
So what's next?
Chris came round. Frank told him what you'd said. They both had a bit of a shout, and then Frank decided he was going to see his lawyers next.
Was Chris angry?
Very.
Even better.
Well, you'd better see your solicitor.
All sorted.
Frank might come back with a bigger offer, but you mustn't accept it. Go for the shares. And I'll buy them off you, and we both get what we want.
Oh, don't worry, Kim. I know what I want.
You're going the right way about getting it. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
And believe me, it's my pleasure.
Are you having a drink?
Yeah, go on. I'll have tonic water, ice and lemon. Right, I'll get that. And a gin and tonic for me, please.
Coming up.
Oh, thank you. I wondered if I might find you here. Thought you were usually behind the bar.
No. Just came to collect my last wage packet.
Everything all right?
Yeah? Everything's perfect. There you go, 320.
320.
Thank you.
Cheers. Here, should we go and sit down?
Yes, love.
I better get back. Keep an eye on Frank. Make sure he hasn't done anything too silly while I've been away.
Oh, very cosy.
Hello, Chris. I'm just going.
And to what do we owe this honour?
Just having a pleasant drink with Rachel. You ought to try it sometime. Bye, Rachel. See you soon.
Yeah, bye, Kim.
What's she up to?
What's your problem?
You and Kim are big pals now, eh?
Look, Chris, I don't have to ask your permission to talk to Kim. I'll talk to who I like.
Well, what did she want?
Want? A drink and a chat. In fact, I was having a very nice evening, Chris. Then you arrived.
When I came back from Scarborough, I decided I wasn't going to hide away. And I'm certainly not turning down Zoe's invite.
Good for you.
Can I have a word, Kim?
Sure.
I'll get a blanket on Valentine.
Thanks, Kathy. You all right?
I am, but Chris isn't.
What's wrong with him now?
He thinks you might be undermining his position.
I beg your pardon?
Don't get irritated.
But what exactly has he been saying?
He wants you to know why you're seeing Rachel.
I had a drink with her, for heaven's sake.
And that's all there was to it.
She's carrying your grandchild, Frank. She's as good as family. Aren't I allowed to do anything round here? All right, you seem to have taken over the reins of the business. Have I complained? But I do think it's the limit when I'm told who I can and cannot socialise with.
I told him he was overreacting.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, your son should show more concern for other people and less with exacting revenge. He's hurting both Kathy and Rachel.
Oh, Jack. I'm sorry to trouble you.
It's going really well.
Fantastic party.
Zoe nearly cancelled.
Why?
You weren't much of a party animal, were you?
I was dreading the prospect of you doing the twist.
Everyone's so friendly.
You're lucky you didn't have to work out a seating plan.
Just a small token.
You shouldn't have.
Thank you.
To Emma and Zoe. I hadn't realised you were a couple till I arrived. It's nice, isn't it? Very lovely couple, wouldn't you say, Frank?
You shouldn't have, Mr. Pollard.
Oh, please, call me Eric. Everybody else does. Hey, Frank.
Oh, sorry I'm late, Kim. I just couldn't get out of bed this morning.
Not David's bad influence, I hope?
Hardly.
Yeah, well, don't get any big ideas about retiring on the back of your Tate fortune. Not yet, anyway. They're going to increase the offer. 120,000.
What, by 120,000? I could live with that.
To 120. It's a joke, isn't it?
I don't know, is it?
You're not serious?
Why not?
Look, I know it seems like it's dragging on, especially when the two of you are cooped up in the same house. But honestly, if you'd been doing it through the solicitors, it would have taken twice as long. This way, at least if Chris makes you an offer in the morning, you can reject it the same afternoon.
Kim, I've spent the last 2 years being miserable and fighting with Chris. Why should I carry on now? I've got more important things to think about, like me, for instance. I mean, we're just bandying about figures here, aren't we? 10,000 more, 20,000 more. I don't lead some jet-set lifestyle. How much money do I need?
Just what he wants you to think. Look, Chris, for once in his life, has got somebody else's best interests at heart. But for every 1,000 he creams off you, it means another 1,000 for him and Rachel.
Whoa, good luck.
I'll do that. Frank wants to talk to you.
Thanks.
It's about the divorce settlement, as if you hadn't guessed. We've decided to increase the offer.
Really?
To 120,000. It's a very generous settlement. You'll be well advised to accept this time.
I'll, let you know.
If we have to drag it through the courts, you may find you end up with considerably less.
I'll bear that in mind. I'll get back to you, Frank. Thanks.
Well done. You're getting quite skilled at this.